Mm.
Hello, 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 and welcome to our first installation of a kind of like a fireside webinar chat entitled Better Together. Our objective tonight, as we start 2026, some people get off to a good start and some do not. It's not entirely because they lack what's necessary to be safe, secure, and self sufficient, but also because most people lack proper guidance on how to just basically do life. Our young men and women are struggling with relationships, socialization, securing and maintaining employment, finances, mental wellness, parenting, navigating the criminal justice system, health and nutrition, and also religion. These are some of the basic topics that we're going to be covering in maybe 3 to 4 parts, depending upon how much we get to talk about and and where the conversation leads to. All of these topics or all of these facets of life are interconnected. We don't need, we may need one facet more than we need the other, but it's like parts of the body. We need all parts of our body in order to function 100%. When there's a part of the body that's lacking, then you just have to pull together, the arms and the limbs and the legs and the feet and toes and everything, in order to be the best at what you can be, whatever it is that you're doing. It could be pretty overwhelming to work on all of these things at one time, and starting points differ due to different vantage points, different cultural differences. Um, we are certain that these topics that we are bringing to you today, you'll get out of the starting gate so that your 2026 will end more successfully than how it began. And that is our desire for you. That is our quest for you. This conversation was basically brought up through some of us here just scrolling through a neighborhood app called Nextdoor Neighbor. Some of you may be familiar with Nextdoor Neighbor. And we noticed that there is a huge outcry from young people, that just needs a hand up, rather than a hand out. Back in the day, we would call it the village. Or back in the day, we would call it teach a person to fish rather than just providing the fish. When you teach a person to fish, you'll give them the resources that they need to live forever rather than just that day. Tonight, we have guests, our regular panelists. We have Don Ellis, we have Yolanda Jackson, and we have yours truly, Candace Sims. There may be two other guests that may be popping in at any time during this webinar, and I'll make sure that I give them their due, their just due for their introduction. Our topic tonight, we're going to be talking about the success sequence. So let's talk about the success sequence. What is the success sequence? Back in 2010, when I was interning with an organization in Norcross, Georgia, called the Georgia Center for Opportunity, their whole vision and mission was focused on the success sequence. They did a lot of lobbying in the Georgia State Legislature for education, equal rights. There was another division within this organization that focused on creating healthy and strong relationships, teaching young men and women how to date, and look out for Mr. Right and Mrs. Right. It was a very, very socialized organization that did so much good for the community. And it helped me a lot too in understanding what the success sequence is. And what the success sequence is an idea that if you actively achieve 3 steps in life, you'll decrease your chances of living in a cycle of poverty and lack. And these 3 steps are: number one, finish high school or obtain your GED. Number two, get a full time job. And number three, wait until you are married before you have children. So, this is basically the conversation that we're going to have. So, as you're tuning in, we will ask you to just sit back, relax, for this. We're going to go about an hour. Hopefully, we won't go more than an hour. Get your favorite beverage, get your favorite snack, and just, jot down some notes and get back with us on some of the things that we're sharing about, some of the things that we're talking about. Maybe some of these things will resonate with you. Maybe there's some things that we didn't talk about that you may want us to include on part two. But we just want to start the conversation. We want to be a part of a solution to a problem that we see happening in our communities and in our neighborhoods and in our families. I really truly believe that everything starts in the household. Everything starts with family. You get your first bird's eye view as to how relationships should be, as to how you view the world through your family. You get your teachings from your parents and from your older siblings. And maybe if your parents aren't in the household, then your guardians who are taking care of you. That is where you get your first hand knowledge of how you perceive the world. So, what happens when that starts to become destructive and it starts to fade away, or there's illness, or there's death, or there's just tearing apart of the families? People move away. People decide they just can't get along with their families, and they end up starting a family of their own away from their original family. It's when the breakdown happens. And so we
Mhm.
can talk about some of those things. Yolanda, would you like to just introduce yourself a little bit and share a little bit about why you feel that this topic is important?
Wow. Hey, thank you for having me. I never knew what this sequence was called or this process was called growing up. Born in 68, life just happened. And you were led by example. So my name is Yolanda Jackson, and I'm proud to be a friend of Candace's. And thank you for having me.
You are so
Um,
welcome. Hmm.
you touched on something that, again, social media is so prominent today. And it does go back to our foundation, definitely goes back to our foundation. But now there's an option, or there are segments that are featured that you don't have to have a relationship with your family. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's okay for
Mm-hmm.
you to really have a conversation with your parent and
Mm-hmm.
say, I don't think I want to be a part of this relationship anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that's not we didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a choice, but we did have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you talked about having your son at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
My parents had us at 15 and 16,
Mm-hmm.
and they had no choice, or my dad had no choice
Mm-hmm.
but to marry her,
Mm-hmm.
to marry my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And from that was his foundation. That was his
Mm-hmm.
development. That was his his go-to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so he went on to stay with my mom, stay married to my mom. He built her a house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at that. So I made a choice
Mm-hmm.
I made a choice not to go and get pregnant at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
unlike my brother, he did not. So
Mm-hmm.
you have two different people that you're
Yeah.
looking at. They're your parents.
Yeah.
They
Two
are your
different
parents and you
viewpoints.
love them.
Yeah.
Different viewpoints.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
my dad being a Southern girl and a, old school, your dad or the man, he's the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And he did what he was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Was he ready? Mm, that's a great question. But
Mm-hmm.
I say that to say, to piggyback on our topic tonight,
Mm-hmm.
I made the choice to, I wanted that. I went to school. I
Yeah.
finished college because that's something that I knew my mom wanted for me. I lost my mom at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And I got married. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I didn't want to have kids out of wedlock. I
Mm-hmm.
got married,
Mm-hmm.
got a job straight out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But are my kids going to do that? And
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to today. They have the option to
Right.
really to have a conversation with me and say, hey, I don't want this relationship anymore. And you're looking like that's not how I was raised, and that's not how I raised you.
Yeah.
So I think they have options.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they have options.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you for that, Yolanda. I want to respond to something that you said. You actually made a couple of points um, that resonate so well with the topic that we're talking about today. Um, and I also heard just browsing through my social media feed about how the generation of today is no longer is divorcing themselves from their families, that
right.
it's okay to not be a part of their original family. And when I
Hmm.
heard that, and now this is becoming a topic on talk shows, to
Yes.
where, what do you think about this? And I know just how I talked about in the introduction, how all of these facets, or all of these um, steps, or to life, they all interconnect with each other. I believe it's out of order for you to disassociate yourself with family. Family is where it all begins. And so I did
Absolutely.
hear about that. And then
Hmm.
something else that you said is, your father had no choice but to marry. And it made
Hmm.
me think about back in the late 70s, early 80s. I had an older brother who messed around with a girl in high school, and he ended up getting her pregnant. Her father happened to be a minister or a preacher. And so they were forced to be married, and they shipped my brother off to the military. Now, he was about 11 or 12 years older than I was. So I was
Hmm.
around the age of 7, but I remember that, how, back then, in the late 70s, early 80s, the um, family responsibility was different than what you see in
Exactly.
this day and age.
Yes.
We didn't have as much freedom, and we didn't have as much liberty back then as you
Hmm.
see in today's day and age. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And we do have Chanel on. Thank you so much for joining us, Chanel. What I want you to do is briefly introduce yourself and share a little bit about why you feel that the steps that make up the success sequence are important for today.
Hi, I'm Chanel Stevens, and I was a single parent of three children. I've never been married. I will be 52 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. And so the reason, I mean, I definitely it's a lot of things that was processing in my mind as I was hearing the other two ladies.
Mhm,
Um, I do believe in all the values that we're talking about in terms of education,
mhm,
um, you know, having a full-time job, or
mhm,
even being an entrepreneur, if I'm honest.
mhm,
Um, and also being in I want to put this out there, healthy marriage,
mm,
because
mhm,
I
Mm,
know that
yeah.
sometimes we talk about how they used to do it, but we don't always talk about the unhealthy relationships, the people that were forced to be married and who were abusive to their spouse because they did not want to be there,
mm,
or the
mhm,
alcoholism
mhm,
or drug abuse, all those things because
Mhm,
no one's
mhm.
dealing with the real and
mhm,
saying, hey,
mhm.
marriage is a huge responsibility
Yes.
and you need to be committed to that
Yeah.
first. You
Yes.
need to love your spouse first. And even as an unmarried person, I always tell my young people, you need to be with each other 5 years as
Mm.
a married couple. I'm not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend. I ain't talking about shacking up. I'm talking about married,
Mhm,
because
Mhm,
you're
mhm.
coming from two different backgrounds
mhm,
and you're trying to merge that to become your family unit, your new traditions.
mhm,
And that has to be honored. I got to understand you. It
mhm,
could be something as simple as I don't want the cap on the toothpaste. And
mm.
every time you take it off, it drives me crazy. That could cause an argument. You know,
Uh-huh.
I don't wash my silverware first. I wash them last because
Mm,
that's what happened at your house.
mm, mhm,
You know,
mhm.
and it sounds
Mhm,
petty,
mhm.
but it can cause the big one. My mama didn't do it that way.
Right.
Exactly.
So now what you
Yeah.
trying to say
Exactly.
about my mama?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's
Mhm,
those type of things. So once we get on the same page, we get to understand each other. I
mhm,
can tell without talking to you when you're having a hard day. Those
mm.
type of things are critical. But
Right.
once you have a baby,
Yeah.
everything changes. I'm talking about your
Ooh,
sex life change, your naps. I hadn't had a nap
Every
so many years.
bless your heart.
So, but nobody talk about that because
Mhm.
that's your baby, your responsibility. And
That's right.
some people make it look like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
That baby is cute. That baby is going to be loved. But
Mhm.
it comes with kids don't even appreciate their parents until either A, they sick, dead, or they have their own.
Oh my goodness.
You are
And y'all know I'm
absolutely
telling the truth.
right.
Soon as
Yes,
they have their own, they want to apologize. Well, you didn't put me through the ringer
right. And it goes back to relationships and
Mhm.
life choices.
now.
Like you said,
Yes,
they all that has that they have to build that.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that's stressful.
Yeah.
It is.
That's
And it's work.
stressful. You got
Yeah.
they're coming into contact of
Yeah.
unhealthy relationships,
Yes.
peer
Mhm.
pressure,
Mhm.
Yes. And
and to
it,
your point, early
mhm.
responsibilities, whether they're teen parents.
Yeah.
And to your point, Chanel, they don't becoming a parent at a young age, they don't know about building foundations. Some
Wow.
may
Mhm.
not, but they're in survival mode.
Wow.
To your
Exactly.
point, where are the Pampers
Right.
coming from?
Right.
She's cute. He's cute.
Right.
You
Where
don't
are
Right.
those Pampers coming? He's cute is not going to
Right.
get
at
Yolanda
all.
to buy those Pampers or
Yeah.
Chanel to buy, invest
Mhm.
in the 529. Those are your responsibilities.
Exactly.
And
Right.
that's very stressful.
Mm.
Very, and that can cause people that have not been taught how to communicate properly
Mhm. Mhm.
to communicate in unhealthy ways, say
Mhm.
things
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
can't take back. Now I'm not in the forgiveness mode. And I hate to say this, but everybody's not the same level in Christianity.
Mm.
So
Oh, good
therefore,
Right.
point. Good
there's a
point.
maturity that
Mhm.
comes with knowing when to speak and when not to speak.
Oh yes.
Yes.
When to pray
Yes.
and when to understand this is a moment I need to step back, let the situation cool off before I say my
Mhm.
word, or let me get
Right.
counsel from someone that's been down this path before,
Right.
that's given me wisdom.
Right.
That's not going
Mhm.
to happen with someone that's not mature in Christ or
Right.
not seeing
Right.
someone else that's
Mhm.
mature and successful in their marriage.
Right.
If you complain
Mhm.
about
Yes.
your husband all the time or you complain about your wife all the time, why would I want to come to you?
Mm. Mm.
Because
That's
you're not
right.
Mhm.
happy. So you
Right.
That's
gonna
right.
make me unhappy. And a
Mhm.
lot of times
Right.
when we talk about divorce,
Mhm.
I don't agree. Well, I pray when I do get married, I don't get divorced, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, sadly, in America right now, it's at 50%. So you gambling at.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
I always say,
Mhm.
when you're getting married, you have to take into account again those background differences. You
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
whatever you
Yes.
start in the beginning. If you don't plan on doing it all the way, don't
Mm.
do it at all.
Don't do it at all.
Like,
Exactly.
I'm not a domestic person. I'm not gonna cook your dinner every day. I'm not even gonna start with that lie.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not, you know
I'll
what,
make
Chanel,
sure
not
you
at
eat.
52. Not at
Yeah.
52. No, you're not.
No.
Exactly. I am
Not
who
at
I am. Now,
52.
I'll make
No,
sure
no,
you
you
eat, but I ain't gonna cook it every day.
and
Right.
it's going to be
Right.
it'll be presented
It will
well
be presentable, and we might have a Subway sandwich every now and again because I
Right.
work
with the
too.
with a
But
little parsley and a little
that's right. I'll
flour
make it
on the
cute for
table. But
you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you
Chanel,
are
So,
absolutely correct.
that
yeah,
is so good,
yeah.
Chanel, and I want to respond to something that you said
Hmm.
about being in a relationship. You know,
Yes.
you just hit it right on the head. When you say that you need to be with that person at least 5 years to get to know them.
Hmm.
Because you have two
Mhm.
adults coming together or two young adults coming together from different backgrounds,
Yep.
maybe sometimes from different ethnicities,
Yep.
Yes.
and getting to
Cultures.
know culture, right? And you have to understand parenting types and
Oh, yeah.
styles. You have to
Mhm.
Do you believe in
understand different
spankings? Do I not believe in
temperaments.
spankings? Are we going
Hmm.
to do gentle parenting? Are we not going to do gentle parenting? Are we going to do timeout? What is,
Right.
what level of punishment? Are they going to be on a week punishment? 3 days? What are we going
Right,
to,
right.
those are conversations that's important. Even
They're
religion.
very important.
If let's
Very
say
important.
we're not coming from the same religion, what
Hmm.
are we going to teach our child?
Right. And
Right.
it's more than just the outer person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like how that person looks, and I like the way he walk, I like the way he
Mm,
talk, I like the kind of job that he have. You have to go deep
that's
beyond the surface
Yes.
of that
right.
person to
How
get
do
to
they manage
know
their money?
how do they manage their
Because I
money.
don't want to be homeless because you cute.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
And so you brought up some very, very good points that point back to the
Mhm.
3 steps of our success sequence. And I see that Dawn is unmuted. Ladies and gentlemen, Dawn did let me know that she has been under the weather a little bit and her voice may be in and out. But I did want to give her the opportunity to be able to introduce herself and just touch on some of the things that we've talked about already, and also share her points of view as to why these steps of the success sequence is important to talk about for the young adults in this day and age. Welcome,
Right.
welcome, Dawn.
Thank you, ladies. I am so sorry. I've been under the weather, so I'm gonna make it brief, but I can relate to everything that was said. I too was a teenage parent
Hmm.
in my first year at Spelman,
Hmm.
and it wasn't an easy walk. My mom and dad, they worked, so it wasn't like I had built-in babysitters. So I had to pretty much figure out everything and then go to school. So
Hmm.
I don't want that path for the ladies, young ladies that are um, growing up now. I want some positivity
Hmm.
and them seeing women make it and not be the stereotype
Hmm.
that they have often labeled us as, having babies and not doing anything.
Hmm.
And that was some of the things that I was told. Oh, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to graduate. You're not going to do anything. You're going to be nothing.
Mhm.
And that was from the outside. Now, my family was surrounding me,
Hmm.
but that was noise from the outside.
Hmm.
And believe it or not, in the church.
Mm.
Mhm.
So, you know, um,
Wow.
I am so glad that we're having this conversation because
Hmm.
we have so many people that are lost mentally, spiritually,
Hmm.
physically,
Hmm.
and they can't navigate in today's society because so many
Right.
things are handled or
Mhm.
it's almost like it's handed to them,
Yeah.
but they can't comprehend how
Mhm.
to
Right.
utilize
Hmm.
Mhm.
what is handed to them. So I think that is a big need to have people that have been through some experiences,
Mhm.
that can tell you, I went this way, but I ended up this way, and this was the right way.
Mhm.
So hopefully these discussions
Mhm.
will become more and more viral,
Yeah.
so we can get our young people. It's really sad
It's
to see
really
some
sad.
of them in some of the states that they're in,
Mhm.
not having any type of goal,
Yeah.
no type of idea of what you want to do, and it's just really sad. But
Yeah.
like I stated, I can definitely relate to all of the conversation tonight.
Yeah.
It's just, what are we going to do about it?
Mm.
I hear a lot of people say, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They start things, and then next thing you know, it's dismantled.
Mhm.
I just want to be the voice.
Yeah.
I want to
Yes.
be the help that
Mhm.
is needed for our young people.
Mhm.
And
Amen.
then some of our elderly people. We're living in a very precarious
Yeah.
um, society now.
Oh, yes.
You don't have that much love, like a village. I had a
Mm.
village.
Mhm.
Mhm.
My daughter did not, on both sides, she did not want for anything.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
And I
That
had
is a
a
blessing.
really big village.
Mhm.
But I learned my lesson too. I
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
too didn't want children. I didn't want any children. My grandmother had a daycare, and I had to help her with it. So I was in my mind as a young person, I was like, I'm not having no
Them
kids.
kids wore you out.
Yeah, I said, I'm not having no kids, but that wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
But like I stated, I did have a village. I
Yeah.
really did. And
Yeah. Mhm.
that's something that you don't have to be in a person's family to be
Yeah.
family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's the big disconnect now, where you're not family. But
Yeah.
no, we're all family. We're all on this planet.
Mm.
We're all here to help one
Mm-hmm.
another.
Mhm.
And for some reason, that has really left a Black family. I don't
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
Mhm.
how somebody can, not help their relatives. Now, there is some
Oh my
situations
Mhm.
where you have to say, you know
God.
what,
Yeah.
I'm just going to love you from
From a
afar,
distance.
from a distance. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
then you do truly have some young ladies that
Yeah.
are really, really
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
their best, but they don't have the support
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
that they need to
Yeah.
navigate
Yeah.
whatever they're going through. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Exactly.
depression out there. It's just like it's. I don't know. I don't know where some of our older ladies are.
Yeah.
Some of our younger women are. Who is? Why are you seeing this happening in your community, in your
Alexa.
church, and whatever?
Yeah.
And then you just turn a blind eye.
You
Yeah.
turn a
So
blind eye.
yeah, turn
Yes.
a blind, and that's not right.
No.
But
No.
we're here. I
Yeah.
can feel the love through the phone,
Yes.
Yes.
through the Zoom
Awesome.
call, that we
And
are on a
yes,
purpose.
Yes.
We
yes,
Yeah.
have a
yes.
purpose,
You have
and
a
as long
purpose.
as we keep that purpose in mind and not deviate from anything else, just have that
Mhm.
one purpose, especially when we get together, I think we'll be a success.
Yes.
I think so
Thank
Agree.
you.
too.
I appreciate that so much,
Mhm.
Dawn, and I appreciate everything that you said and talked about, from the village to admitting that you have been talked down to, that you wouldn't
Yeah.
amount to anything, that you wouldn't be anything,
Mhm.
and I know that was my experience too. It wasn't so much of my mom telling me that I wasn't going to be amount to much, because she knew that I was smart. She knew that I was intelligent, but I didn't have an actively involved mom in my life.
Mhm.
She wasn't the nurturing mom that I needed, the one that would give me the atta girls, and I knew you could do it. And she was the silent mom and the well, what do you want me to say?
Mhm.
Type of mom.
Right.
And I couldn't understand that. And the more and more I tried, and the more and more I excelled to win her approval and to win her affection, it wore me out because
Mhm.
I never got it. And after I graduated high school and started a first year in college, I said, well, maybe college will be it, and I tried to excel and still the same thing. And I didn't learn till
Mm.
later in life, and as a matter of fact, within the last 10 years, that my mom had issues. She has some deep-seated, personal, secretive issues that she never shared with her children,
Mm.
and that hindered her ability
Mm.
to provide the nurturing that we needed, to feel loved and to feel accepted. And I knew in my mind and in my heart of hearts that I was loved. But, young children, they need to know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They need to feel it. And that's where the village comes in,
Mhm.
because there is a lack and there
Mhm.
is a disconnect for whatever reason. It could be
Mhm.
lack of education, or it could be lack of financial stability,
Mhm.
or
Right.
it could be sexual assault,
Mhm.
molestation.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
causes that block
Mhm.
between a parent and a child to be able to make that connection
Yeah.
so that you can put that child on a path to success. So it could be a
Right.
variety of things. And
Mhm.
so, we're not, when we're talking about these issues and we're talking about these things, we don't want to be judgmental
Mhm.
towards
Right.
anyone's stance as
Right.
to where they are. We just want you to be able to recognize that there could be a different way
Mhm.
to be able to do life, that's opposed to what you're doing currently,
Mhm.
Yeah.
to springboard yourself into a life that's a little bit more at ease and less stressful,
Right.
a
Yes.
little bit more self-sufficient,
Mhm.
and it can be done. It can be
Mhm.
done. If
Yes.
we take our eyes off of the economy and what's going up and what's not going down, and if we stay focused on that,
Mhm.
then it will look like there's no end in sight.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But if we start, I was watching the commemorative celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today, this morning, commemorating his birthday. And there's something that Raphael Warnock, Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock, said
Mhm.
today. He said, power doesn't start from the top down,
Sure
it
do.
starts from the bottom up collectively.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so, with that bottom, what we're trying to do with this bottom is get the young folks to start talking about what's really going on in their lives so that
Right.
we can be able to come in and help, not to judge again, not to judge, and not
Mhm.
to make you feel any lower than how you may already feel,
Mhm.
but to understand where you are so that we can get in there with you, so that you can be successful and so that you can be
Right.
who you need to
Mhm.
be for your children. And so, and that is why we are here. And that is why we are talking about the things that we're talking about. All of these ladies are sharing some great, great information from our vantage point and our backgrounds, and we are those older women that are showing up. We want to show up for you, and um, and just help you, uh,
Mhm.
whatever it is that you need. Anyone else want to jump in and add to that?
Miss Candace, this is Chanel. I wanted to just
Uh-huh.
say something. We were talking about a village, right?
Hmm.
That's where I come from. My mother had mental health issues.
Mhm.
So, and my father had drug addiction.
Mhm.
So, my mother got sick when I was about 3. And my dad, I don't even know when he started addiction, but it was bad. So I moved from house to house, family member to family member.
Mhm.
And as a child, they don't want you, but they're doing what they think is right.
Yeah.
And you can feel that as a child.
Hmm.
So anyway, when I lived with my mother one time, she had put me out. I was just 12. And my best friend, it was a boy. We used to always play tetherball together. And his mother, I'm crying and telling him what's happening. And his mom had the window open because she was washing dishes and she heard our conversation. That was in 1985.
Wow.
They are still in my life today.
Come on.
Graduation.
Mm.
I have lived with them.
Wow.
My kids know them. That's Aunt Kathy, Uncle Lonnie to this day. My grandchildren know them.
Love it.
In they in my Uncle Lonnie is tough. Don't get me wrong. He say stuff and I'm like, what? But he always
Mhm,
pushed me to go to college. He pushed me to stay. Like I had dropped out of high school, so
mhm,
I was embarrassed, and so I was like, but I know I'm smart. I know I'm smart. So I said I can't tell my kids to go to school and I not go to school. So I
mhm,
went back, got my GED.
mhm,
Then I was like, I want to go to college. So
mhm,
I had to go the long way because I had two babies at this time. Then I ended up with three. That's a whole nother talk show.
mhm,
Um, but I went to junior college and it
mhm,
took me the longest time. I had made junior college almost into a doctorate because I was there so long. But
mhm.
I'm like, I can't do 12 units. I get overwhelmed. I can
Yeah,
do nine.
yeah,
So I nined it all the way out of there.
yeah.
Then I transferred to a 4-year college. I
Mhm,
got my bachelor's degree. My GPA wasn't what I wanted it to be. Then I moved to Atlanta from California. I
mhm.
said, I'm going to go back and get my master's, but this is for me.
Yes,
I know I can do it.
yes.
Got my
Mm-hmm.
master's. So, again, as you were saying earlier, we're not saying that things don't happen. We're
Yeah.
saying that when we reflect on what we did, we wish we would have done things a little bit differently.
Mhm,
So
Right.
we don't have to go that way.
mm,
I always think, what could I have done if I
mhm,
would have waited?
mhm,
I don't
mhm,
regret my kids because I know that they pushed me.
mhm,
But at the same time, I could have probably pushed myself to greater heights
mm,
because I wanted to go to Clark Atlanta
mhm.
and I couldn't afford Clark Atlanta. So I went to the PWS.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
I did what I had to do to be
yeah.
able to support
Right.
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
I'm a first time homeowner.
Mhm.
Things I didn't even think I could do. And
Mm.
I've been at the same job today 30 years.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's
And
awesome.
I just left my job of 30 years.
Oh, now see, I need a little bit more education, my 401k. So that's something we definitely got to talk about retirement,
Yeah.
all that to help the
That's
young
what I
people.
handled at my job. Yeah, I handled
Because
all of our retirement.
I'm,
So,
yeah, see, I didn't know the education then. Now I know it, but now I'm an old lady.
eh.
And I didn't took away the Walmart greeter. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Janelle, that is awesome. I just want to congratulate you on your
Thank you.
Yeah,
accomplishments,
Thank you.
and to let our audience know that, as long as you're doing what needs to be done, there's no time limit to
Mm,
that.
right,
You
yeah.
know, keep
right,
your focus
Hmm.
steady.
But it's not
Understand,
easy.
yes, and understand what your why is.
right,
Yeah.
Hmm.
right.
A lot of times I think our young folks, because even when I'm looking back into my 20s and my teens, and what would I say to that young girl, back then?
Hmm.
um I would say to her, what was my why?
Yeah.
Everything. My why was to make my mom proud of me, you
Hmm.
know and I was like a mouse in a wheel, spinning wheels, not going anywhere, because my why was not for me. My
Hmm.
why was for someone else.
Else, right,
And
right,
if your why can be for you, because you got to put that oxygen mask on yourself first before you can give life to anything else. Your why always
right.
has to be for you, you know.
And get to know yourself. A
Mhm.
lot of people don't know themselves.
Hmm.
I mean, truly. I mean, deep down. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know who they are.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
really don't. And they
Yeah.
don't know what purpose they have. I mean, it's just some lost souls. So as long as you are true to yourself
Yeah.
and really know yourself,
Yeah.
you can reach the sky. I mean, you can go past the sky. You can open up the sky.
Yeah.
It's just you have to have that determination
Mhm.
and that drive to
Yeah.
say, I am somebody.
Right.
Man.
Right.
See, that's lost. I am somebody, and I feel so sorry for some of these kids because they truly don't know who they are. Their
Mhm.
parents are either lost themselves, or it's just many circumstances
Mhm.
that can steer them into the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And being a life coach in the specialty of grief and loss, I have clients that are my age and sometimes older. Most of my clients are within their 30s and in their 40s. And believe it or not, they don't know what their life purpose is. They don't know
Mm.
what it is that they're achieving in life. And that's why whenever I go into my coaching sessions, I always make the first couple of weeks or first couple of sessions all about them. Because a lot of times we don't have anyone to sit down and ask us, what is it that you admire about yourself the most? What is it that you love about yourself? To compliment yourself. There's this one young
Right.
man that I was coaching. I asked him what did he love about himself, and he could not respond. He could not even look at me when I asked him that question. He would
Mm.
look down when I asked him that. And I told him to look up and to look me in the eye. And I said, let me tell you what I love about you and just meeting you within this past hour. He had a chipped tooth. I said, that chipped tooth in the front of your mouth. I said, that gives you character. And so then he started blushing a little bit. No one has ever talked to him about, you know, him as a person. And I wanted to bring that out in him. Sometimes our young folks just need for someone to bring out the best in them.
Right.
Um, because as a court appointed victim advocate here in Georgia, I hear women on the phone all the time, every day, doing stuff for that man
Mhm.
to keep that man, even though that man is verbally abusive, even though that
Mm.
man is physically abusive, and half the time not around.
Mhm.
And so, and they're and I asked them, what do you want for you? They can't answer that question because they've been living
Mm.
so long doing for other people that they forgot about themselves. And maybe that is why we've gotten here in this season with this generation that
Right.
that there's always a need for diapers, or there are always a need for paying my rent, or always a need for something, you know because they don't know who they are, and they haven't had anyone
Right.
to pour into them to bring out the best in them so that they can go get that bag or get
Right.
whatever it is that they need, in order to sustain. And that's why we're doing this tonight. All right. So we have about 15 minutes left. And in conclusion, we know that we have not solved every problem. We have just touched on the surface
Right.
of the success sequence and of just some family history from among the four of us that we've so candidly shared with you all. That we hoped that we started a discussion that we would like to bring you in to the conversation. We want you to stay tuned to part 2 of this series as we continue to add guest speakers in various topics. Let us know which topics you would like to hear, that these speakers would lend their advice and their expertise. Again, we are here to solve a problem, not to just talk about a problem. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you make it because we believe in you. Be sure to like and subscribe and share this video. And look out for more announcements on the airing of part 2. I want to again thank my guests for lending their time and lending their talent to this platform. Your presence is very much appreciated. Before we go ahead and end tonight, I would just like to open it up for final words and final thoughts.
This is Yolanda Jackson speaking. Just to continue to be in our young adults' lives in any aspect, whether it's small, whether it's large.
Mhm.
The chipped tooth, that meant a lot to him. You got to smile, you
Mhm.
know, and that's probably something that he was very or is self-conscious of, got
Mhm.
picked on.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they need.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
doesn't take much. And to your point, Chanel, just like a marriage, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take love my chip tooth
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
tell me you love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That means a lot.
He was seen. He was
Mm-hmm.
He was
seen.
seen. He was
Yes.
seen.
And
Yes.
we see you. We see you. We
Yes,
see
we
the
do.
we see you on Next Door Neighbor. We see you on Facebook. We see you on TikTok.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We see you. And we
And
want
one
to
of the
be
things I would like to remind people,
yeah.
this is Chanel speaking, where you are today doesn't have anything to do with where you can go tomorrow. You
Mm,
just have to really, Hebrews 11:1, that is my scripture,
mm,
because I have to have faith that I can make it.
mhm,
Hold on to that. I don't care what it looked like
mhm,
today.
mhm.
You can get there, but you like faith without works is dead. That you got to do
Mhm.
your part.
Mm,
God gonna bless it if
mm.
you do your part. That's
Yeah.
all you got to do.
Yeah.
And the
Yes.
people that have blessed me throughout my life, some
Mhm.
people I didn't even know them.
Mm,
Just come out the blue. Here go $50.
mhm,
Here go a gift
Mm.
card. I bought your kids some clothes.
mm,
What?
mhm,
You
mm.
don't even
Yes.
know me, but because they saw me grinding, working,
Yes.
going to school,
Mhm.
doing my best,
Wow.
doing 3 jobs, doing whatever it took.
Yeah.
They's like, I
Wow.
got to bless somebody that's trying
Wow.
and not making excuses. So don't make an excuse.
Right.
It's okay to cry in that pillow because I've
Yeah.
cried
Yeah.
a naughty good time.
Hello.
That's all right.
That's right.
And keep pushing.
That's right. Keep pushing. That's being real. And we
Yes.
can work with real.
Right. It
Yeah.
isn't easy, but you can do it and get into a village of people that are positive. You don't need no naysayers because most of the time the people that's naysaying, they ain't doing nothing no way.
Nope.
They aren't doing
And whether
anything.
you
They're
successful or doing bad, they're gonna have something to say. So
Yes.
just keep on moving.
Yes. Right.
like the
Right,
pastor
right.
said, the devil has a job.
Mm,
And what
And he don't take no
Mm-hmm.
days off.
mm,
no,
Sure
none.
don't.
No days. And
Yeah,
as long as the devil impacts one, then
Mhm.
he's good.
wow.
exactly. I would say, don't let your background define you. Don't
Mm,
let how you
mm,
grew up
mm,
define you.
mhm,
If you need help, if you have some issues
mhm,
from the past, get some help. I mean, it's healthy
mhm.
to talk to a therapist. It's healthy to
Yeah.
let people know what's going on in your mind so you can heal.
Yeah.
But don't ever let your background or wherever you came from define who you are.
That's
Yes.
right.
Um,
That's right. Wow. That's right.
And I'm glad you mentioned therapy because honestly, when you have kids too young, like you said earlier, you be in survival mode. My
Mm,
whole thought is what you're going to eat. What
yeah.
are they protected? Are they this
mhm.
and that and the third?
Mhm.
Never get a chance to know myself.
Yeah.
Now I'm dealing with my own childhood drama, but trauma.
Yeah.
Had I been able to deal with that at a younger age, they could have had a
Ooh,
better version of me as their mom.
Right.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's something because you don't get no time to yourself. That's a wrap. Even if you go to the bathroom, there'll be some little fingers and hands looking at you.
Yes.
Mommy, be like, Lord, call me something else.
Wow. I love it.
Mm.
That's what my
I
mama
love
used
it.
to say. I'm gonna change my name. I'm
Yeah.
changing my name.
And they're gonna learn that too. So you can't run away.
Yep. She
That's
used to
right.
say that all the time.
Mhm.
I'm gonna change. Mhm.
Oh, wow. So, better together. We are here to prove that we can be better together. Thank you so much for lending your time, your talent, and also those of you who are choosing to listen to this. Again, just DM us a message and let us know how you resonated with this discussion. If there are some topics and ideas that you would like for us to bring to the forefront for next time. Again, we are here to be the solution to a problem that we see existing in our culture. We thank you so much and good night. Until next time, good night.